So how would you describe early 2020s mainstream pop sound? Hello everyone, welcome back to Playlist Pop. My name is Edward. So at this point we're pretty much close to the mid 2020s, and I started thinking about how would I describe the early 2020s in terms of the mainstream pop sound, because when I think of like 10 years ago, like the early 2010s, everything was dancey, EDM, pop music, that was pretty much everywhere. And then when I think of like the late 2010s, you start to hear more like hip hop. The pop songs that we would hear, they were a lot more darker and it was very much vibes, right? And of course there's other ways I can describe it, but that's pretty much how I would describe from my memory. When I think about like the 2020s right now, at least in my opinion, it feels like we're still in the late 2010s where music still feels very sad. It doesn't really feel like we move forward compared to when you look at like the late 2000s and when you look at the early 2010s, there was like a shift, right? Like you could feel it, you could see it, the media, the music, like something changed. It feels like we haven't really moved forward to a new sound. What was it, 2021 or 2020, around that time when Olivia Rodrigo released her song Good For You? It was the second single off Sour. So when I heard that and seeing how successful it was, and of course around when that song came out, there was Machine Gun Kelly who released pop rock songs as well. You know, another song, Willow, what's the song called, Transparent Soul? That's another one that it was everywhere on TikTok. It seemed like there was going to be a shift already, that pop rock and rock music was going to start to get mainstream from like the 2000s, or like Demi Lovato, Avril Lavigne, Kelly Clarkson. You know, like if you look at their albums from that time, it was very pop rock. Started thinking, okay, maybe that's what's going to be described as like the early 2020s. After that, I never really heard much pop rock in terms of it being a big song on the music charts. Yes, there is more talk about pop rock and pop punk, but it wasn't in terms of like, oh, we saw it and we heard it everywhere we went. Or like when you look at early 2010s when pop music, dance music, EDM, dubstep was all popular, everybody was pretty much going into that sound, right? And even artists that never did that type of music were going into that sound. At least to me, just had a moment. It had a revival. Yes, there are artists that are doing pop rock and it still are to this day, but it wasn't enough to get mainstream popular. Not only that, but if you look at the last 3 years, things have changed in music, and this could go back to how when COVID happened, and then of course the industry has changed compared to 2019. When you look at now, there's not that many upcoming music artists like when you look at 10 years ago, which has been talked about quite often, about the industry being sad. They don't really know how to bring up a new artist compared to back then. Older songs have gotten popular, right? They gone viral. And then of course TikTok, and how TikTok now has that power to kind of show which songs will get popular and which songs will be successful or not. So like the song Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush, a song that was released in 1985. Not only did it go viral after many watched Stranger Things season 4 in 2022, but it had pretty much a revival. It peaked at number 3 on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts. And of course there have been other songs from the past that have also gone viral, even songs that were not singles. For example, Bloody Mary by Lady Gaga, originally released on Lady Gaga's Born This Way album in 2011. After a speed up version of the song was used in videos of Jenna Ortega's character Wednesday from the Netflix series Wednesday, which the song ended up going on the charts and even peaking at number 41 on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts. Along with the most recent one that comes to mind is Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. Again, was not a single, and there were plans on that song being a single. Taylor did speak about it on one of her concerts from her Eras tour. Because of COVID, all those plans ended up not happening, which peaked at number 3 on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts. So I did go on Reddit because there was a bunch of links to Reddit of people discussing this. I'm just gonna read some of the comments I found and kind of just go over it. So this one is by Andy_Cheetah2456. How would you describe the 2020s pop sound? Because how awful the world has been lately, COVID, environmental crisis, political strife, I feel like pop culture has really been lacking or on some sort of pause since 2019, which that pretty much sums up how I feel. It feels like ever since like 2019 and when COVID started happening, it feels like we're still stuck in 2019. I'm asking because I literally have no idea. To me, it feels very all over the place and it isn't very cohesive. I find myself paying more attention to smaller acts these days. So there was this user who posted this 2 years ago. For pop in general, I would say it's nostalgia, bait to the max, whether it's the 80s sound, the 90s sound, or the Y2K revival. It's all about throwing back. I think that's probably one of the best ways that describes our early 2020s mainstream pop sound. And it is true, there's so many reboots, and even when you look at Disney giving us live action remakes of old classics, it seems like, especially when it comes to pop music, it seems like the 80s is very much what a lot of artists are really going towards in their projects. And then of course there's the 2000s revival. There's been a lot of nostalgia when it comes to the fashion especially. And then there was also this comment right here that's saying that songs were getting shorter, which that is true. It doesn't really bother me that songs have gotten shorter as long as the song is good. I'm okay with it. Yes, there have been songs where I'm like, I wish there was a bridge because this song is so good and it should at least have a bridge. But other than that, I've gotten okay with it, but it could just be because my attention span, that's another thing. People's attention span has changed since TikTok has gotten popular. That's why songs have gotten shorter because of, you know, TikTok, it trending on there and you get more streams. At least that's probably how like the record label see is that, oh yeah, we need a shorter song because more people are going to stream it that way because they love it so much and they want more of it. So there was this comment that I found that pretty much said that from the responses, they noticed that people were referring to Katy Perry a lot. Things used to be so fun and upbeat. Clearly a lot of you are not listening to what's current right now. And they were giving examples of some of the biggest hits from the 2020s so far, like Blinding Lights, Say So, Levitating, Stay, As It Was, Industry Baby, I'm Good, and etc. And they are upbeat songs, right? Even with all those songs that I did hear and I really did enjoy, everything just feels so depressing still. And I started to think, you know what, maybe it's not so much the music, I think it's just the world that we're living in right now. That's why it feels like that. At least that's what I think in my opinion. Also, another thing I wanted to add is that when looking at the charts, especially currently, I've noticed that country music has gotten more popular, at least here in America. And even looking at the iTunes charts, I've just been noticing more, not only throwbacks, but also a lot more country as well. So I do wonder if country is gonna just start being part of mainstream more as we go more into the mid 2020s. And also K-pop has gotten more popular, especially in America. Latin pop has gotten more popular. There's no way to really describe it by one sound anymore. It's pretty much kind of like everywhere. So what are your thoughts on this? Where do you think music is heading in the next few years? And what do you think describes the early 2020s? You can share it in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day and I'll see you later.